Don't you hate it when, you're totally locked out of your phone? You know that feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Like you just set the password and it's completely gone. Brain fog. It's like we're juggling a million passwords these days.
Hmm.
But what if, and I'm just throwing this out there, what if the key to like our digital lives was literally us?
Interesting.
That's the whole idea behind biometric security, right?
Hmm.
And today, we're doing a deep dive,
Yeah.
going way beyond just your fingerprint to unlock your phone, like next level stuff.
Yeah.
How does it actually work? How is it being used? And should we all be like freaking out just a little
A
bit?
little bit.
Our guide for all of this is an article. It's from Recordia, a company that actually specializes in voice biometric authentication. So they know what they're talking about. The piece is called Biometric Identification versus Verification.
Catchy.
Right.
Yeah. And it's amazing how central this whole biometric thing has become, like so fast. It's not just sci-fi stuff anymore,
Yeah.
It's really changing how we think about identity in this increasingly very digital world. And, with all this digital stuff comes a lot of cybercrime, unfortunately.
Okay, so now you're making me paranoid about my online shopping habit.
It's out there.
But no, seriously, I do remember in the article, there were some stats in there, some pretty alarming stats about identity fraud attempts.
Yeah, there were some big numbers. I think one of them was like over half of companies were dealing with these kinds of attempts, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was a 2021 survey by the AECF, and it found that 58%, a big chunk of companies, had at least one identity fraud scare. Kind of a wake-up call, We need better security, and that's where biometrics comes in.
Okay, so let's break this down. Because when most people hear biometrics, they think fingerprint scan on my phone. Which, it's not wrong, but it's also not the whole picture. What are we really talking about here?
Well, the article actually does a really good job of laying it out. Biometric identification, they say, and it's pretty clear. It's all about connecting a specific biological trait, something unique to you. It's like that fingerprint kit idea, but way more advanced, and we're not just talking fingerprints.
So not just fingerprints. What else are we talking? Like if you could scan my personality.
Not quite yet, but it's amazing what they can use. Your voice, an iris scan, even the pattern of veins in your hand, they're all unique.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They can even, believe it or not, analyze the way you walk. It's all about finding those one-of-a-kind markers that make you, you.
So this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because the article made a point of saying identification and verification, like they're different. And I feel like, I don't know, I've always used those kind of interchangeably. Is there a big difference?
There is a difference, and it's important. It's like, I don't know, two sides of the same coin, Identification is saying, this I is this person. Solid link between that trait, that fingerprint, whatever, and them. Verification is more like, is this the same person we've seen before? It's about confirming.
Okay, so sticking with the fingerprint thing, because that's easy to picture, it's like the difference between setting up your fingerprint to unlock your phone for the first time and then later actually using it to unlock.
There you go. One's creating the record, the other's checking it. And that little difference really changes how we can use all this biometric tech.
So up until now, we've been focusing on the security side, right? Like using your eyeball to stop someone else from getting into your bank account. But the article also mentioned some other, maybe not as obvious, advantages to biometrics. So aside from, catching the bad guys, what's in it for us? The everyday person just trying to, order pizza online.
That's one of the things I think is really cool about all of this. It's not just about being more secure. It's about making our lives easier. The article, it highlighted a few things that I think people can relate to. Efficiency, for one. Biometrics, it can really speed things up, faster service, shorter wait times.
Great, now you're speaking my language. But
Yeah.
how does that actually play out? Give me a real world example. How is it actually a better experience?
Think about calling, I don't know, your bank or any company, really. You know how they put you through the ringer to verify it's you? Biometrics could get rid of all those security questions, all those steps, make it smoother, faster, less of a headache.
So less time on hold, less trying to remember what my first pet's name was. I'm listening. But they went even further, right? The article, it mentioned that biometrics can actually make data protection stronger, which seems counterintuitive, maybe?
It does, yeah. But think about it. Data privacy is a huge deal right now, right? So the better we are at protecting that information, the less likely it is to end up in the wrong hands. And passwords, they're not that hard to break.
That's a good point. So it's almost like we're moving from a cheap little padlock on all our personal data to something way more secure.
Exactly. It's like upgrading to, Fort Knox for your information.
I like that. Okay, so we've got the what the types of biometrics, identification versus verification. We've got the why, better security, things are faster, and potentially better user experience overall. But where is all this actually happening?
Well, they talked a lot about call centers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's a prime spot for biometrics.
Okay.
Even mentioned Recordia, since they're the ones they do voice biometrics, as a solution for call centers,
Makes sense.
boosting security and making things more efficient.
So it's not just like some far-off thing. This
No.
is real. It's happening right now.
Right now.
And call centers, I mean, we deal with those all the time.
All the time.
So what makes them like such a good fit for biometrics?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
They're kind of the front line when it comes to fraud, right?
Totally.
And they're dealing with like really important info
Yeah.
constantly.
Super sensitive stuff.
Exactly. So if you bring in voice biometrics, you can cut down on that fraud
Yeah.
big time.
Huge.
And it actually makes things easier for customers, too.
So instead of getting grilled with a million questions every time I call my bank,
Yeah.
it's just, boom, my
Yeah.
voice is the key.
Pretty much. It's about making it smooth,
Yeah.
seamless, secure.
I like it. So are call centers like the main thing, or there's other examples?
Oh, no, it's way bigger than that.
Okay, good.
It's everywhere. Like, we're already seeing it. You unlock your phone with your face, maybe, or verify a payment in a store.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
becoming part of, like, our everyday.
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder, where do we go from here? Are we going to get rid of passwords completely?
Wouldn't that be something?
Right. I mean, imagine just your voice or your face and boom, that's it. You're in.
That's the dream, right?
I don't know. Part of me thinks it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's a little Black Mirror-ish.
Totally. I mean, how much convenience is too much,
Yeah.
Like, where's that line between we're safe and secure, but also we have our privacy?
Yeah.
It's like we want that Jetsons life, but then it gets a little too real.
For sure. It's a conversation starter. Amazing technology, no doubt, but there are big, big questions about how we use it, how we manage all that data. It's a lot.
Which brings us back to that article from Recordia. They did a great job really breaking down what biometric identification and verification are, how it all works. But it definitely left me wondering, what's next? Where does it go from here? It's only getting more like integrated into our lives.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think there's a simple answer. The tech itself, it's changing so fast, and we're all just trying to keep up. One thing's for sure, though, those companies creating these systems, they've got to be upfront about their data practices. No more hiding behind it's very technical stuff.
Right, like tell us what you're doing with our eyeball scans. But it's on us too, right? We
Yeah.
can't just be passive. We have to like pay attention to how our own data, our biometric data, is being collected, how it's being used.
100%. Knowledge is power, right?
Mm.
The more we know about all of this, the good, the bad, wait, really, they can do that, the better we can deal with it.
This whole thing, it's like that saying, what is it? With great power comes.
Great responsibility.
That's the one. And we have this incredibly powerful tech literally at our fingertips. It really could make our lives easier, make things more secure in a lot of ways. But we can't just ignore the downsides either.
It's a balancing act for sure.
Well, you've given us a lot to consider today. What started as this simple question, biometric security, turned into this whole, like, what does the future of identity even look like thing?
That's what we do here. It's been fun. Really enjoyed digging into it with you.
And a huge thank you to all of you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned some stuff, had a few wait what moments, and most importantly, we hope you keep those questions coming. Until next time, stay curious out there.